When you are keeping these animals, okay, you know, these are not pets. I mean,
Obviously.
Yeah, they're definitely not pets. I mean, it's something that has been a fascination for you for so long, and obviously myself.
Since I've been about 10 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since my dad bought me a Kenan when I was a little kid, to me that was a baby dinosaur. And that's the way I feel about them today. They're the coolest animals on earth. A lot smarter than most people give them credit for.
Hey guys, ladies, everyone out there, I'm here today and I want to talk to you about our friend Fred Grunwald. Some of you guys may have heard that Fred passed on, and obviously all of us are incredibly sad. I only want to talk about the good feelings I've had with Fred and the impact that he's made on my life just by being his friend. I want to talk about who Fred was and who his spirit remains to be, as it's just so incredible to me. He was such an incredible man, completely loving and devoted husband, father, grandfather, and great-grandfather. When I first met Fred, it was about 2004, one of the Daytona reptile shows, and I was working with a friend at their booth, and there were a bunch of baby grandis, Hyosemis grandis, Asian wood turtles. And this unassuming man and his little granddaughter, little blonde, cute thing, come over to the table, and he just starts looking at these little grandis, which aren't necessarily the most exciting turtle. I've said it many times before, but the thing that they have is spirit, and they have personality. And I have always been drawn to those guys. And it turns out the man looking at these animals was Fred Grunwald. And we struck up a conversation. And he was asking me, he had never really seen that species before, and I was explaining to him, like, oh man, these are really cool turtles, and we got into this awesome discussion, and he bought 4 of them. And while we're talking, me thinking in my own, gosh, sometimes you meet people and you have a little bit, you think you know who they are, but you don't have a clue, and that's the mistake I think people can make if they met Fred Grunwald in kind of a normal setting. I don't know how normal a reptile show is, but I just thought he was this nice grandpa that liked turtles. And before he leaves, after he bought the turtles, he says, you know, man, you're a fun guy to talk to. You got a lot of energy, and you know, we've just really vibed. And he gave me a card, and it said Crocodile Corner. And I look, and I go, oh, you live not too far from me. I go, you got crocodiles? Still kind of thinking, there's no way this guy's got crocodiles. There's no way. And he's like, oh yeah, I got a few things, you should come over. So that was in August of 2004. And it was about 10 months later before I was doing some work in my office, and I dug up the card, and I was like, you know what, I gotta call this guy. And I called him up. And it was as if no time had gone by. He just remembered who I was. I go, hey, I don't know if you remember me. You met me at Daytona. He's like, I'd love to come over and see the crocodile. Well, what are you doing today? And next thing you know, I'm riding over there, and I meet up with him in the front yard, and that man brings me in the backyard. And I was blown away by what he had. The big alligators, saltwater croc, you know, caiman. It was incredible. It was incredible. It was much like probably the first time you guys saw him on our videos. And we hung out for hours that day. And I can honestly tell you, from that day, we were just friends.
We're at my buddy Fred's house. Fred, what's your favorite beer? Yeah. Just another Dave.
And I would be over there all the time, learning about, you know, crocodilians. He was so generous with his time and his knowledge, and honestly his friendship. And he just gave me so much information, so much so that I actually earned all my hours for crocodilian keeping from Fred. Fred was my mentor. Fred was my biggest mentor in crocodilians. And for someone to take on a guy like me, it's a big deal. It's a big responsibility. And I got that opportunity to learn from Fred, who I found out for the last 40 years at that point was a really well-known and respected man in Florida herpetoculture, in Florida reptile keeping. He went back to the 60s. He worked at the Palm Beach Zoo. He was somebody that knew what he was talking about. He wasn't necessarily an academic. He was a hands-on, regular guy that learned and loved these animals. I just want to take this time. I just really want to talk about him because, you know, with everything that's happened the last few days in the news of his passing, these kind of things, they sometimes don't feel very real. They just don't feel real. And I haven't had a time to actually talk to anyone about this, and I wanted to do it here and give a tribute and my experience with Fred because he is such a huge part of what I've done here. Awesome. I can honestly say that his mentorship enabled me the ability to have the privilege of being permitted for those animals. It showed me how you keep these animals in Florida, as he was the first guy in Florida that I met when I moved here that did it the way I wanted to do it, that did it for the animals. He loved them, but he treated them with such reverence and respect, and he got such a kick out of them. From the smallest little turtle, it could be a red-eared slider, to the biggest reticulated python. Fred didn't play favorites. He didn't play favorites with his animals. He didn't play favorites with his friends. If you were Fred's friend, you felt like he was your best friend. I'm just one of many, many people that had the honor and privilege of being his friend. And when you, in your lives, can connect with a human being like that, it is one of the greatest gifts that you can get in being alive. When you know, they say friends are the family you choose. And that is such a truism. Fred and I chose each other. We chose to be friends. And I've known him now, it's 17 years. 17 years, and I'm wanting more. 17 years, and I wish there was just more. Fred had been dealing with some health issues for many years. In fact, the story, this is something we've talked about before, is Fred actually was diagnosed with cancer of the throat in 1996, and he was given just months to live in 1996. And the thing I think about, you know, as I wanted to talk to you guys, I mean, I'm just kind of stream of consciousness about Fred here, but the thing that always comes into my head thinking about Fred is spirit. And Fred's spirit was so strong, and his love for life so strong, and his love for his family and his children and his grandchildren and now his great-grandchildren and his animals was so great that this man defied odds that most people would have succumbed to. Most people would have folded over if they're told you had 6 months to live, that you may not make it 6 months. What does that do to a human spirit, to a person's spirit? Well, a spirit like Fred says, well, I better get on living. And he kept on living for 20-something years after. And like I said, he got to see his grandkids, who he had such a big hand in raising, grow up and fall in love, and they had children of their own, and just great people. And that's because of Fred and his wife, Belinda, their impact on those people. He got to realize his dream of being retired and just fishing all day and playing with reptiles and sitting down in the driveway in chairs not much different than this with his best friends, with Barry and Kenny, you know, Steve Hill, all these people that he surrounded himself with, and tells the funniest stories of the old days of going to Belize and going to Central America as a young man, to find, Central American river turtles, and he just told me stories, things that in this day and age, we're just not going to get again. He was a real gem and a time capsule and a fountain of knowledge that he poured into everyone that he spent time with. I have to mention that with the incredible amount of lives he's touched outside of his own family to his chosen family, if you will, of friends that really made it in there, he really had this incredible sphere of influence and respect that you really, quite frankly, sometimes in the reptile community, he's an anomaly. Because so many times there's a lot of jealousy and this person doesn't like that person. I guess that's life, right? But I can honestly say, you mentioned Fred Grunwald's name to any person that knows reptiles and knows Fred, and there will be not one bad word. And more importantly, Fred Grunwald never spoke ill of anyone else. Again, spirit and, just grace. Fred had this grace about him.
Is this a dream or what?
This is something that it is a dream. A dream that I thought would never come true, and here I am.
He was so egoless. He had no ego. None. Zero. All he cared about was his family, friends, and his animals. And I really hope that you guys go back and check out what Tom and I have done with Fred over the years. In fact, we've made a really cool playlist of all the videos that Fred was a part of in this channel. And I want you to check it out. And I want you to really listen to Fred, because there was never an act with Fred. Not one. And that's why he and I were such close friends. That's why I can call him one of my best friends and mentors. And, just before I go, I want to just say also that there would be no Kamp Kenan without Fred Grunwald. Fred was the very first place we went to make videos, because Fred is damn interesting, and he has some amazing animals, and he is funny.
Is there anything else you'd rather be doing today, Fred?
No, this is my very favorite thing to do on Earth. Yeah, I can think of about 1,000 things I'd be rather do. Fishing, but
and I'm in the perfect place here to figure out whether it's a boy or a girl, and there's really only one way to do that. I'm gonna feel if it's a boy or a girl.
All right, if we're not in your way,
Yeah.
have a ball.
Yeah, exciting.
He is a funny, funny person. His spirit was so big. And we went with Fred, and Fred is a member of this place. He will always be a member of this place. I will always keep his memory alive. And I want to say to the Grunwald family and his chosen family of friends that I want to thank Belinda and Brooke and Freddie Jr. and all of his brothers and sisters and his children. Thank you for sharing Fred. Thank you for sharing Fred with me. Thank you for allowing me to share Fred with all of the people who watch this channel. And I am going to speak for Chandler as well. And Chandler loves Fred very much. And I know 100% Chandler agrees with everything I'm saying. And I want to say thank you for Chandler as well, because Fred gave us the biggest gift of all. He gave us himself. And I hope that the videos we've done together are in lasting legacy for the Grunwald family and for Fred's memory and his intelligence and knowledge on these animals and love and passion for these animals and passion for life. No matter what bad days Fred might have had with his health ailments, I know that his spirit was so strong and his love for life so strong. That's what carried him through all those years. And sometimes a spirit grows so incredibly big that the body just can't contain it any longer. And Fred's spirit was busting at the seams, and as much as it hurts you and I and the family, Fred is and forever will be a part of all of us and this world we live in. And I just want to say I am honored to be in a world where I got to be friends with a man like Fred Grunwald. So this video, however sad you might think it, I might be teary right now, but my heart is full of love and respect and gratitude for having known Fred and being invited into his life and knowing his family. And I'm gonna leave you with this. I got the chance to see Fred not long before he passed, a few days. And it was no cameras, it was just two guys that love reptiles. Walking around his yard, he was talking about things he wanted to do. And I got the greatest gift he ever gave me. When I left, he told me he loved me, and I told him I loved him too. So what I want all you to do is to please remember Fred Grunwald and to love animals as much as Fred did and love each other. And that's all I got to say, and I hope you guys will do that, and we'll continue here at Kamp Kenan in Fred's memory forever. Thank you. I'll talk to you all soon. Fred, how long have you been keeping reptiles?
Since I was about 12.
How old are you now?
Oh man.
27?
28.
I love Fred. Oh look, yeah, friendly. Friendly blood. My gosh, is it a friendly Woma?
On Tuesdays and Thursdays of August, that's it.
What? Forget the beer, Fred.
What do you mean forget the beer? What's the matter with you? Trying to save your gloves, man.
Thank you. I thought you were going for the beer.
I am.
I love that beer.
Thanks, Fred! Thank you, man.
I love you, man. Love that guy. Love this guy.
I'd love to see what you're doing, man. It's
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you so much, Fred. This is my pal. This is my good pal, Fred. We're gonna wrap it up right now. Fred, it's always fun hanging out with you, buddy. Thanks for, this was an impromptu visit. We didn't even know we were gonna do an episode, but Fred's always got something cool going on.
Yeah,
so.
it's always like this.
All right, man. See you later.